Nacho man, yeah. I got to be a Nacho man, to be a Nacho man. I got to be a Nacho man.
Welcome, Vault Dwellers. My name is Nacho Bidness, and this video is going to get a little bit longer introduction because it is long overdue. While I do that, I am going to show you guys a great place to get a bunch of plastic. I fast travel to Fraternity Row in Morgantown, and then I head just a little bit to the southeast. It's a location a lot of players like to call Cat House, and we'll see why when we get there. While I walk over there, I wanted to explain why it took me so long to answer Mark's comments. Mark Jackson asked about the usefulness of the sneak perks and how their impact would be seen in survival mode. And this video is clearly overdue since survival mode has since been canceled. See, I tend to record long in advance of when I actually release my videos. And that means that I can sometimes miss newsworthy events, such as survival mode getting canceled before I actually uploaded my survival mode video. The other reason is that I was waiting for a friend of mine to get his character leveled up to at least level 50 so that he could get all the perks that we thought were going to be relevant to the survival mode and things that we wanted to test. So between those two factors, it turns out that survival mode has been canceled, and yet I don't think that this information is completely useless because I'm not entirely convinced that we have seen the end of survival mode. So while I walk through Cat House here and pick up the very, very numerous cat bowls that are scattered around in here and get myself a bunch of plastic, let's take a look at survival mode and sneak perks and see what we can learn. And we're joined again today by my friend Echo Undercover, who is playing a different character from his merchant character that we saw the other day. He is playing his survival character today. So, hello Echo.
Hello.
We are actually in survival mode right now. You can tell by the little icon to the bottom right of the screen where it says that I'm in 11th place. And we're doing some experiments to try and investigate some of the different mechanics that we may or may not be able to take advantage of in the survival mode. The first is whether or not silenced weapons really has much of an effect. So I have crafted a couple of short hunting rifles and given those to Echo, and we're just going to take a look at whether or not those silences make a difference for PvP. So Echo, if you would please, that looks like it is the regular version of the gun.
Yep.
Alrighty, and then he can switch over to a silenced version. It may be difficult if you're watching this on a phone or something where you're not using headphones, but it is distinctly quieter. And I think that if you're using directional headphones especially, there is an advantage in PvP to using a silenced weapon. The next thing that we were looking at was that we had noticed earlier that if your gun is drawn, you show up as hostile, and if your gun is put away, you're not shown as hostile. However, I've shot Echo a couple times, and that does not appear to be working right now. Nevertheless, Echo, can you confirm that I don't show up as hostile to you?
Yeah, no, you're showing up as neutral right now with the white icon rather than red. But when you pull out your gun, you're definitely showing up as hostile.
So, at least at the beginning of an encounter with another player, That is a thing that you can maybe use a little bit to your advantage when perhaps you can't see them directly, or you're working at a little bit of a distance, just to know whether or not their weapon is drawn. Probably is a good indicator on whether or not they have noticed you. We've also been taking a look at the Chameleon Armor and the effect that it has on sneaking. We're both equipped with Chameleon Armor because it's frankly really good even in adventure mode against the PvE mode where we're talking about creatures in the game. But as you can see, if Echo stays still, it is awfully hard to see him when he is crouched. Now, I can sort of see a shimmer on my screen if I stand close enough, and indeed if I have my cursor directly on him, it changes to red and he shows up on the top of my screen. But otherwise, it's very difficult to see him, and although he's marked right now, it's hard to miss that orange triangle. Actually, even that has now disappeared. Echo, did you just change from caution to hidden by chance?
No, I'm still in caution. I think that if you went into sneak, we might both be hidden.
Nope, I'm actually showing as danger at the moment.
That's interesting, because I'm still in caution.
There appears to be some kind of cooldown associated with how long the red triangle shows up on the screen after someone goes into sneak with Chameleon Armor. Fascinating. Echo, would you stand up? And then crouch again? So it disappeared immediately that time.
Because Bethesda.
Because Bethesda. I'm certain there's a rule or mechanic here that we're not understanding, so if you know the answer to this particular mystery, I would love to hear about it in the comments. The next thing that we were looking at was stealth boys and how effective are stealth boys when it comes to trying to sneak, and they're actually pretty effective. It's awfully hard to see someone when they're using a stealth boy if they're not marked. Again, Echo, you're marked, and I just don't know why. Are you crouched, or are you...
No, I'm walking.
Okay, maybe if you enter sneak mode, that will disappear. And sure enough, it did. So if you are using a stealth boy to try and avoid other players, don't forget that you still need to be in sneak mode. The other thing
Stealth boy seems to have worn off.
Okay. If you would please pop another one, because I'd like to show what we found with berry mentats. This is something I've seen some other YouTubers do. The berry mentats do more or less overcome the effect of stealth boys. And it looks like you're standing up.
Yes.
And your gun is away.
Yes.
So if you were to sneak again, let's see what would happen. So your nameplate disappears, but you still show up as a pink blob on my screen, and if I point my gun at you, I can see your name and current health. Now, when we first tried this, it didn't work, and so I thought maybe that Bethesda had changed the rules regarding berry mentats in survival mode, but no. They appear to work some of the time, but not all of the time. Once again, I guess, because Bethesda.
Agreed.
Well, there's another thing that we have noticed, and that is that sneak criticals do still count. So I'm just gonna shoot my friend here in the face, and that did 110. And actually, it did 110 again. But if I stand up and maybe wait for him to heal up, because I don't want to. We're out here literally in the middle of nowhere, and twice now I have accidentally killed him. He's had to sneak past that fisher site right there and try not to aggro the Scorch Beast. So if I shoot him in the face again, this time it's only 65 because I'm not sneaking. So sneak attack criticals do still count, but it's not the same multiplier as you get in PvE, because 65 versus 110 is not even double, which means that the Covert Ops perk here probably is not very useful in PvP. You could probably find something better to do with your perk points if you are going to go into PvP in survival mode. We also have been taking a look. Go ahead.
Something else that we should mention is that the Instigating did pop there, but it's only because I had 0 radiation on me.
Actually, let's check that out again. Are you still at 0 radiation?
I am, but I'm not at full health. I'm gonna have to get further away from you so I can heal.
Okay, let's just run away. Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away.
Okay. Let me just double check that I'm at full health. Yes, I'm at 280 out of 280.
Okay. So, you saw that I got a sneak attack critical because I shot him twice and it was 110 both times. Now I'm using an Instigating Gauss rifle here, and if I hold my breath and not move around, darn it, and shoot him in the face, that's still 110 because the Instigating on the Gauss worked. But if I shoot him again, it's only 65. Again, the Instigating effect works against players, but only if they are at 100% health. And that includes radiation damage. So, for example, if...
Let me eat some chicken intestines.
Delicious chicken intestines, which are going to give Echo a few points of radiation damage, which most players carry around on them all the time anyway, right? So if I shoot him now, come on, hold your breath and take the shot. That was 65 again. So Instigating is not a particularly good sniper weapon when it comes to PvP, because it's almost guaranteed that anybody that you're going up against has eaten some food or drank some water that has given them some radiation damage, and that means the Instigating is not going to work. The last topic that we were going to cover today is the effect of the sneak perk. Right now, Echo and I are both running Sneak and Covert Ops and Escape Artist. And Echo, if you would go into Sneak mode real quick, what we'll see is that I cannot VATS him when he's in Sneak mode at all. Like, I'm directly on top of him, and like my gun's pointed pretty much right at his head, and I cannot VATS him. However, if Echo removes the Sneak perk, what we'll see is that I will be able to VATS him. Actually, I take that back. He's going to have to take off his Sneak perk and his Chameleon Armor.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
So the Chameleon Armor more or less takes the place of a sneak perk when it comes to PvP, as far as it's hard to VATS you, at least when you're still. However, if you were in motion, or if you don't have the Chameleon Armor, sneak makes it so that I can't VATS. So Echo, did you take your perk off?
I did.
All right, and if you could.
Chameleon Armor as well.
Okay.
Take off Escape Artist. Alright, so I am all set.
Okay, so if he goes into sneak mode now, I am still able to get a VATS shot on him. So this video was largely in answer to Mark Jackson asking about the effectiveness of the sneak perk in PvP, and it turns out that it is very effective against players like myself that heavily depend on VATS. However, skilled players that are able to snipe without using VATS are probably going to be able to find you and kill you even with the sneak perk. Nevertheless, against scrubs like me, sneak is pretty much just a hard counter against my character here, since he's all guns and I can't aim. There's one last thing that Echo has kind of stumbled across when it comes to your caps. See, I'm actually holding all of his caps for him right now, and that's because when you get killed in survival mode, in adventure mode actually, you forfeit some caps to the person that killed you. However, if you're not holding any caps, I received exactly 0 caps for killing Echo there. So if you have multiple characters, or otherwise can find a way to get rid of your caps or temporarily store them off of your character, that is a good way to avoid losing them to other players when you are in survival mode. However, be advised that you will still drop your bag with some of your healing items and all of your junk. So there are still punishments for getting killed in survival mode, because I could easily come along here and scoop all this stuff up without a second thought and be gone before him as an enemy would be able to spawn back on me. So Mark, I hope that this answers at least some of the questions that you had regarding survival mode and whether or not sneak is an effective perk. The answer is yes, sneak is situationally useful. There's also a lot of other considerations when you are going to go into survival mode. I certainly would not call this a strategy guide. This video in particular was just a couple of survival noobs playing around at the edge of the map just to see what we could learn. And I feel like we learned a lot, and yet I also feel like in many ways we posed more questions than we answered. And so I'd like to hear about your questions in the comments below. If you have specific questions that Echo and I can try to answer, I'd love to hear about them. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you did not like, please tell me why in the comments so that I can try and do a better job for you next time. If you are not subscribed, consider subscribing. Until the next time, my name is Nacho Bidness, and I'm saying it's a great big wasteland out there. Let's go have fun in it.